Welcome back. A lot has happened between 18 and where I am today. I am almost 23. I'll be 23 this month. And I wanted to make this video to kind of showcase what I've learned during this time, and if I had to start over at 18 again, what I would do differently. So, first off, I would say that a lot has happened, and we'll go ahead and get into it, like the different things that I've done since turning 18. I finished college. I've built businesses. I've bought and sold thousands of pairs of shoes at this point. I've invested in crypto, accumulated debt, paid off debt, made mistakes, had wins. And basically, I'm making this video to kind of showcase what I would do differently and what I would do the same. So we'll start off with number one is stop trying to do everything. The number one thing that my dad always says is not to spread yourself too thin, and that is definitely what I did in the beginning. And I was running the shoe business, the selling business, running a crypto community. I was posting on like 8 different social media platforms. I just started college back up again. I was doing so much to the point where nothing was getting done and nothing was done well. So I would say stop trying to do everything and start focusing on just a few things at once and not 10 different things. So if I could start over at 18, I would have just ran with the shoe business as hard as I could and continue doing that instead of spreading myself too thin, because honestly, the mistakes I made in that business definitely happened because I wasn't paying enough attention to it. And now, now knowing what I know, I definitely wouldn't have, ventured into those different areas if I just, knew what I knew now. So that is lesson number one. Now, lesson number two would be learning sales earlier. I definitely underestimated how important it was before. My buddy Matthew actually is the one that kind of told me, like, hey, sales is really important. You should really take a look into it. And in the shoe business, I didn't really have to make sales because everything was like a transaction online. So I would buy the stuff in person from people, either the stores or used shoes from people, or other resellers, which was pretty easy to buy off of other people. I mean, they want to sell you stuff, so it's easier just to buy. But yeah, learning sales easier earlier would have been a lot easier, I think, because there's a lot of things that you can learn in like persuasion and communication, stuff like that I didn't have, I guess, at 18, and I definitely have it now, much better than before. I'm still working on it, of course, but working at the real estate job last year definitely helped me with sales. I learned a lot about sales, and I had to do a lot of different things there, and I learned a lot. But I'll probably end up making a video about that whole experience in the future anyway. But yeah, number two was learning sales earlier. Number three is building systems earlier. I did not build systems for the shoe business until like last year, and since then the business has almost doubled. I've tripled in inventory, and basically I can now track every single shoe everywhere it's at. So I know what's in consignment. I know what has sold and is still in the house that needs to be packed. I know what has sold and is on the way to being delivered. I know what is delivered and what is being paid on, what I'm waiting to be paid on, and basically I can track every single item to the T, and I know exactly how much money I have invested, how much money I'm making every month, to the day, to the exact time, everything. So that took me years to, figure out and get all together. So tracking finances, making sure that you're hitting your goals, that's a lot of things. And obviously processes are always going to be a lot easier if you have systems in place. And especially if you're doing any sort of service-based business, you need to have systems and know where each of your clients are at in order to, keep growing and keep customers, because that's the hardest part. Getting them and keeping them, like a lot of people are really good at getting them. Some are very good at servicing clients over time and keeping clients, but to be good at both is very important. And then number 4 is tracking my finances from day one. Now, I did hit on this in the last lesson, but that was more so with systems and for the business. I'm talking more now when it comes to finances, specifically personal finances, making sure that you are not putting yourself in debt, and making sure that you have more assets than liabilities, and making sure your income is larger than your expenses, cutting your expenses. All of that is very, very important when it comes to tracking your finances. And if I did that from day one, I think I'd be in a much better position now financially. And the next one would be lesson number 5: start creating content immediately. Because in the beginning, I created some, didn't post it, I wasn't able to get more reach with the other people that were in my niche, and I think it would have been a lot better because I would have had more of a network to bounce ideas off of and be able to keep me accountable. And there was times where I didn't have that, and that definitely slowed me down, and it was harder for me to stick with the business because I didn't have anybody I could really speak to about it. And the few people that I did know had stopped reselling at that point and moved on to other things. So it was harder for me to, keep growing the business and learn different things because I didn't really know anybody else in the industry. In the beginning, I made those relationships and I kind of stopped building them. And that leads into number 6, is building better relationships. And sometimes that's more important than actually knowing what you're doing, because those relationships can really take you anywhere in the world that you want. And you see it all the time when it comes to politics or just anybody that's on YouTube in different industries. The better relationships you have with other people, the more success you'll end up reaching. And knowledge is important, but having the right people in your life is also the key to that. You can know a lot and you can be very, very intelligent, but if you don't have the right people to help you get to where you want to be, you'll never get there. So I would definitely invest a lot more time into building relationships. Now, number 7 kind of hits to number, I think, 4, finances, and number 3, building systems. This is stop chasing fast money, because let me tell you, I've made a lot of money in just a few days or just a few hours, and look, everybody online, when they're teaching about money, they try to give you the fast money stuff. So they're going to teach you all the different things, drop shipping, crypto trading, all of that stuff. Look, don't chase that stuff. In order to actually make money with those businesses and those business models, you have to learn everything in that industry. You have to learn who your competition is, how you can run the business, how you're supposed to get clients, the marketing tactics that you're supposed to use for that business. There's so much that goes into it that they don't tell you, and they want to just sell you a course on to make money. So that's one of those things where stop chasing the fast money. You need to get yourself out of that mindset in order to get to the point where you want to be, because you want to build stuff that lasts. You don't want a business that starts, out of thin air, and then 3 months later, you're on to the next one. You don't want to be doing that. You want to actually sit there, and you may have that fear of missing out on starting another business because you heard somebody else is making money there. Look, the grass is, they always say the grass is green on the other side, but it's really where you water your grass. You have to take care of your grass if you want it to grow. And when it comes to businesses, that's what matters. And you have to take care of the business. You have to take care of yourself. And that leads into number 8, which is take care of your health. That is one big thing, that your energy, your focus, everything is so important to your productivity. And if your health is suffering, everything else is going to be suffering too. And if I was 18 again, I would definitely prioritize that and keep that consistent, because at that time I was very fit. Now I have been, at least over the past few months, I've been taking care of my body a lot better. But there's times that I sacrificed, my health in order to make more money, and that ties into that fast money thing. Don't chase it, because building things over a long period of time is much more important. And then with number 9 is taking debt more seriously. It's not just a financial thing, it's also a mental thing. So when you take on these large amounts of debt, it creates stress that you don't even realize you're putting on your body. And it limits your progress. It limits the different avenues you can go down, because you have monthly payments you have to make. You have to make sure you're not just making monthly payments, because then if you just make that, you're going to be paying for 20 years. Paying off debt is so important, and I'm still paying debt off now that I accrued over the past few years. And that is one of those things why I started making the net worth videos, and actually why I started making the whole channel, is to, honestly, the more people that watch my videos, the more accountability that I need to have for myself, because I now have people tuning in to see how I'm doing. It's, it's putting that extra lever of stress onto myself to pay off all my debt and get better financially. So, and you'll see in the net worth videos how much I'm in debt. It is not a good number. So if you're curious, go check that out. But if I could go back, I would definitely avoid debt at all costs, no matter what that means. Just avoid it. And that goes with cars, houses, growing the businesses, all that stuff. If you don't have to go to a, you want to come out of pocket is what I was trying to say, but you don't want to go and pull loans out for things, and that's very important. You don't want to be in debt to anyone, really. That includes family members too. I mean, family members will be there to help, and you should take the help if it is a genuine concern, like they're wanting to help you genuinely and not to get something in return. Then that is okay sometimes, but I would be very, very careful when it comes to family, because you never know what could happen. Now, I have not experienced this firsthand necessarily when it comes to family, but I do have a couple friends that have still owe me some money, but I look past it because they're my friends. But eventually they'll be getting a call from me. But yeah, the next thing would be lesson number 10: focus on building valuable skills. Money comes and goes, but skills stay. Sales, finance, operations, communication, leadership is what I have written down. Those are so important, and I'll start with sales. We talked about sales before. Look, if you're good at sales, you can go anywhere and make money and be okay. You'll never starve. You'll always be able to put food on the table if you're good at sales. So that is number one thing. Tracking your finances, because without being able to track your finances, if you make a lot of money, you could blow it all too. So that's important. And on the business side, operations, leadership, communication, that's very important. And a lot of people will be like, "Oh, leadership is easy, communication is easy, operating business is easy," until they do it. And then once they're in it, then they realize, "Oh, business is not as easy as people make it seem." So, if I had to start over, I would focus on building those skills that compound over time, and I mean, those skills create opportunities, so that's what I would do. And now, talking about what I would change, I'm gonna start talking about what I would keep. So there's a lot of things that I did do very good, and I went over the things that I didn't do as well. But the one thing that I did very, very, very well was starting my business early. I took that opportunity when it came to me, and I ran with it as far as I could, and I'm still going now. The shoe business is still making me money and is actually funding my lifestyle right now. Partly with, there's a lot of things that go into it, but I'm doing Uber in order to pay off my debt earlier, so my business can, pay me enough to not have to work a job, because I did not take the job that I was going to right out of college. So that is one thing that now I have that option. I have that option to run the business instead of working for somebody else's. And look, that is very, very powerful. And at 22, almost 23 years old, I would not change anything about that part. When I started businesses and ended them and continued them, I think it was perfect. I wouldn't change a single thing about it. And honestly, I learned more from trying, than I ever would just from waiting. So the more you try, the better, and don't wait. Never wait. You'll learn more faster by doing it than just waiting around for the right way to do something. So just do it and you'll figure it out. Trust me. And if you can't figure it out, just message me. I'll help you out if I can, hopefully. Or I'll point you in the right direction of, where you can find that help. But you'll be okay. And taking risk is that number 2 thing. And I wouldn't change any of the risks that I took. I bought inventory. I put myself in debt. Now, the debt side is tough. It's tough to say that I, wouldn't change. But It is true. I wouldn't change the way I did it. Now, debt is not fun, and maybe I would have different types of debt instead of credit card debt. That would be better. But going into debt to run the business was hard to do, and I'll talk about more about the business in general, the shoe business in general, and go into why it succeeded during different periods of time and why it didn't, and what I'm doing now to minimize the risk, but also still have upside. Not completely shelter myself from all the opportunities out there too. So, but I'm a little bit more picky with the opportunities that I do take when it comes to buying inventory and the different businesses that I may be a part of in the future. So now these are my final thoughts. Now I would just say that work on fewer things, build better systems, think more long term. Look, I'm still figuring a lot of this out, so I'm sure I'll make another video reacting to this when I'm way older and see if I actually took my own advice now, and see, my younger self in a video and reacting to it would be pretty cool in the future. So if you do want to see that later on, please let me know. And I have not made it yet, so you're watching, the beginning. I'm not editing any of this video. Like, if I mess up, I'm messing up. And before I tried editing, but dude, it takes so much time, and I'd much rather go out and Uber and make money. And instead of paying someone to edit, I'm just not gonna edit. Like, you guys are just gonna have to deal with it until I can figure it out. But yeah, I've learned a lot over the last few years, and these are the things I do differently and what I do the same. And if you're younger than me or even older than me, hopefully this saves you some mistakes and some time. And I'll see you in the next video. If you did like it, please like and subscribe. As always, if you have any thoughts, please let me know what you want to see in the future, or if you want to learn more about the different things that I do, you could also email me. I actually put my my website link that I take clients on for credit and helping them with their businesses. Like, if you just want to reach out to me and talk to me, I'm not going to charge you. Just let me know that you came from the YouTube videos, and I'm not going to charge you, and we'll figure something out. I also have a school community where I talk about wealth, mindset, philosophy, all of that stuff, and it's helping me build a good network of people online that are also, kind of digital nomads. I'm trying to, jump into that space. I no longer want to be stuck to one place all the time and be reliant on my location. I want to be able to go anywhere I can, and those are very big things, and those are things I want to do in the future. So if you are interested in joining that, please let me know. You can just join directly from the link. There's a couple questions you have to ask, and it's like a request to join, but I accept everybody. So I just do that more so to understand who's coming in, and that way I can start like mending my content in there to fit the people a little bit better. So it's not to be like, oh, you're not joining because you're just starting out. It's no, let me know what you're working on, and what you plan to work on, and what you want to learn from other people in the community. That way I can help you do that. So yeah, thank you for watching, and if, like I said earlier, if you like it, like the video, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.